everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I am reading on today. But before we get started, you know what to do. Go right down here. Go in your settings. Go and find your subscribe button and go ahead and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell so you'll know when I upload or when I just want to pop in and give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis. We all know what it is. It's that unrelenting beast of an algorithm. I really, really would appreciate it. And right here is our join button that is for channel memberships. And if you become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you would support my little channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I'll tell you what, I would be so grateful to you for that. All right, with all that said, let's get to the read. When I was putting the read together today, of course, you know where I was. I was in these internet streets. I'm telling you, I've been in the internet streets pretty much all day, just really going through a lot of articles, trying to find out what is going on, just trying to get my ear to the ground to see what are the squatties talking about. And of course, I was over at X listening, seeing what the squatties was talking about, what they were posting about, and then I was over on Instagram. And so basically what the squatties are talking about, especially over on X, is this right here. They are still really, really angry about this attack on Meghan. And they are not letting it go. Now, some of the squatties are saying that they should let it go because it's a distraction. And we all know that this is the game that Kensington Palace plays all the time. And yeah, that is true because we all know that a week ago they released that little mini movie, that epic failure of a shampoo ad, and they found out that it landed like a lead balloon. And then on Thursday, they did that on Monday. On Thursday, they started the attacks. They started to attack Harry, they started to attack Meghan, and they started to try to distract from people talking about this convenient cancer of Kate, because pretty much people came for her neck because they were saying this is not realistic. All this butterfly landing in your hand and all this walking through I almost said wheat fields, but it looked like I don't know, dried flowers, weeds. I don't know what she was walking through, but she was walking through something. And it's not realistic, especially that lady over at the Guardian who said that she had breast cancer 2 years prior to Kate. And she was saying that her skin was gray, she lost her hair, she wanted to stay in her pajamas, and here Katie is pushing children and rolling on the ground with William, and like I said, having butterflies laying in her hand. And so they just pretty much came for her neck, and especially we ain't even gonna talk about that one in the mirror where Polly Hudson, I think her name is, just did a full takedown and put Kate in a headlock and bagged her up and just dog walked her uh, in that article. And so then all of a sudden, here they come with this, trying to see they couldn't connect Meghan with their total and absolutely collapse, but yet and still they wanted to scapegoat her. That's what they wanted to do. And the squatties are just not having it. But this is the way I feel about it. I feel that you can walk and chew gum at the same time, meaning that you can push back on this nonsense attack that we know come from Kensington Palace. And I push back on the attacks that came on Harry. Because they attacked him. They started attacking him on Thursday before his birthday. Because this whole thing with this mini movie, I have said it before, they dropped it because they wanted to mess up his birthday. William wanted to mess up his birthday because he knew Harry was going to get all this love and he could not take it. And so he dropped this mini movie that he thought was going to be, what did they say? The reset to end all resets. Isn't that what they said? and it turned out to be a flippity flippity flop. And so they started attacking them on Thursday, and they really started attacking Megan on Saturday, digging up that dead horse and starting to whip on it, saying that she is some kind of bully. And we went through that yesterday. Uh, if that email is an example of bullying, I don't know what kind of office they work in, because that was the most polite email. And I was thinking about that email and the way Megan, she was concerned about her mother. She wanted to come up with a plan to keep her mother safe. And yet, and still, she had continued all the way through the email being very polite. They don't understand about, especially Black women and their mothers. So they don't know that Megan was really, they got the right one when they got Megan. They didn't get the wrong one, because the wrong one would have, the email would have went a whole lot different. I'll just put it that way. But yet and still, like I said, I digress. But the squatties are still on X. They still mad about that. And I understand it. And I participated in it. I went in there and threw some hands every now and then, because then it's some trolls coming in there talking nonsense. And the squatties are just not having it. And I threw a few hands myself. They had some random posts in there with these people talking nonsense and talking about, Now Gardner, one of them, him over there to the Heritage Foundation. He's the one who tried to get sued to get Harry's a visa, uh, released to the public, and lost L. And he up there talking about, if she, talking just nonsense, talking about she's such a horrible bully, she should not have her royal titles. That's what he said. Ugh, the weasels. But anyway, I digress. So that's what's going on X. So I decided to throw a few hands in that, and then I went reading. And then I happened up on this. Y'all remember this? This is the picture that Kate released Mother's Day of this year. And then it turns out it was this, meaning that it was a Frankenstein picture. And the AP and all the other people, I think Getty too, put a kill notice on it, saying that it was photoshopped to the gods. And so, and it ended up, once they got that kill notice on it, everything kind of blew up. And Kensington Palace, they said Kensington Palace, that's when they got their reputation. Kensington Palace was about as reliable as Iran and North Korea, and that they was not going to just accept anything as factual from them anymore. And that's a lot of reason why they're going around the press too. It's because they really don't want to deal with facts no more. Kensington Palace doesn't want to. They want to deal in fantasy, because you can tell with this movie that they put out, this nonsense that they put out, they don't want to deal with reality. Especially Kate had a literally Kate literally had a butterfly landing in her hand in this movie. It is the most nonsense, and they really thought people was going to swallow that. They really did. But I digress. The reason I'm saying that is, at the end of the day, William was supposedly the one who took the picture. She says she photoshopped it, and she ended up being the one thrown up under the bus for everything that happened. William allowed his so called cancer stricken wife to be thrown under the bus, and this came out. It says Kate Middleton apologized over doctored family photo, admits she experimented with editing. She had to pretty much be thrown up under the bus. And I said all this to say, well, I'm gonna build it up. All right, you remember when this happened? When they said they put out the movie, they said that it was the reset of all resets and stuff. And then when it went south too, they started the distraction, what we just talked about. Well, I found this today. That article that was by Tom Sykes, the one that was so William focused that you could tell that he was the source for that article, it was behind a paywall on the Daily Beast. And the wording was totally different than the one I'm about to show you. And it was pretty much contributed to William. William being the source, William is the one that's saying F everybody. Well, I found this one today, right here. And now, look who's at the top of it. A friend says Kate Middleton is sending a message. F, and they use the word, as you see, the haters, the press, and Harry and Meghan. And this is not behind a paywall. This is in Cosmopolitan magazine. I really feel that this is William and Kensington Palace throwing Kate under the bus again, saying that this big, spectacular fail, this big L that they had to take, is really Kate's to take. Because the one that contributed to William is behind a paywall. The one that contributes to her is in a woman's magazine, and it does not have a paywall. I'm just saying. Why would you put out an article like this and contribute it completely to Kate Middleton and have the movie running? I just did not. I mean, this is just a picture. I just took a snapshot of it. But you can watch the movie on Cosmopolitan website. They threw her up under the bus. And she deserves it. I'll say that. Because she is a woman who crawls up on the Jeep. She is a woman that when people of color, when they went on tours, let them carry them on that shoulder. She always, every dumb idea that William comes up with, she is all in. She's walking through fields. She's doing all of that. So she deserves this. She deserves to be thrown under the bus. And I, that's why I say he is who he is, because of the people that surrounds him, that has raised him, the firm that has raised him. They have raised him not to accept any responsibility for none of his nonsense that he does. All these stupid, stupid things. He will throw anybody up under the bus that he can, including his so called sick wife. And this is all this is. She went straight under the bus. So people who are reading Cosmopolitan magazine, which is mostly women, are going to think that she did that. She is the cause for this epic failure. And we all know that Kate do not breathe in or out without William telling her it's okay to do so. I'm just saying. Moving on, we got a lot of stuff. So I found that very interesting. Y'all remember when I did my podcast? I think it was Sunday for Harry's birthday, and this is the Tom Sykes article about Olive Branch as William, Kate, and Charles all wish Harry a happy 40th birthday. And we were talking about, well, I was saying that I didn't know if it was an olive branch or a stick, but to beat Harry with. And we pretty much figure out that it was a stick. Everybody said it was a stick, but then the next day we found out, yeah, we were right. It was a stick because William went right back to Tom Sykes and came up with this nonsense, talking about he has no interest in reconciling with Harry right now. And we talked about this last night with his weak, pitiful, pathetic self. So, but we all know that they tried to use the post to push back and to distract. You remember they said that Meghan was cropped out, and we pretty much disproved that. I disproved that yesterday. And I want to say this what before I go on. You remember yesterday I couldn't figure out. I said, I don't, I said Buckingham Palace pulled, I mean, Buckingham Palace smacked that down when William them and Kensington Palace had the flying monkey Big Back Becky to write an article saying that Meghan was photoshopped out of the post. And all of a sudden, Buckingham Palace was like, nope, They actually jumped in and pushed back on them. And I said, I hadn't figured, I don't know what to make of it. I even asked y'all in the comments, what y'all make of that? I said, I don't know what I make of it. Well, I know what I make of it now. It came to me while I was doing all of my reading. The reason they pushed back on it is, and they did not want it, they wanted to make sure people knew that they did not Photoshop her out of there, is because of what I just said earlier in this podcast. The Frankenstein picture. The Frankenstein Mother's Day picture is the reason why they push back. They don't even want to be associated with Kensington Palace nonsense. That is why. So I wanted to say that before I got into this second article I wanted to talk about. That is the reason. We all know that Kensington Palace is on the level of Iran and North Korea. And Buckingham Palace don't want nothing to do with it. And that's why they push back so hard. People, the Mirror, I mean, all over, even in the Daily Fail. It was another one too. Oh yeah, it was in the Daily Beast. All of that pushback. No, it was not. That was not a Photoshop picture. We didn't Photoshop Meghan out. We didn't crop her out. And that is the reason why they pushed back. I knew it wasn't because they cared about Harry or they cared about Meghan's feelings or anything like that. I knew it because none of it had anything to do with Harry or Meghan. His birthday post didn't have nothing to do with him. And that's what we're going to get into next. The reason, I mean, it's all becoming clear now. None of it was about Harry. It was what I said in the beginning on Sunday, that Harry made them say happy birthday. He made them have to post about it because of everybody was giving him so much love that it was about them. They did not want to present themselves as the petty losers that they are. So they went and posted. And William went behind Charles because he knew that he could not handle the smoke that would come behind him not saying happy birthday to his brother. And then he called Big Back Becky to try to cover it up and then cried to Tom Sykes talking about he wasn't interested in talking to his brother, going back behind it instead of being and standing in it and say, well, I'm not interested in having a relationship with my brother and I'm not posting anything. He couldn't do that. He too weak, too mealy mouse, too ugh. You know what I'm saying? Just a pathetic pile of jello. But yet and still, he can go behind, afterwards and talk all this nonsense. But that is the reason. Buckingham Palace don't want to have nothing to do with Kensington Palace's nonsense. All this nonsense that they got into with that picture, that Frankenstein picture. They don't want they don't want none of that taint on them. That is the reason. It took me a minute to figure it out, but that is why I believe that Buckingham Palace was pushing back on them saying that they cropped Meghan out. It didn't have nothing to do with Harry or Meghan, as usual. It was all about them, and they don't want that taint because Kensington Palace is it's got a taint to them. I mean, nobody trusts them, and that's a reason why you know, William was talking about F the press because they didn't get away with a whole lot of stuff that they've been used to getting away with. That picture was a non-starter and they put a kill notice on it. And I bet you he was snatching down some curtains and throwing plates up in there when that happened. And then turned around and had his wife to throw her up under the bus. But I digress. All right. When I was saying that this whole birthday post was Harry making them do it, and it was about themselves because this family doesn't do anything that's not about them. Here we go. I found this in Newsweek. It says Prince Harry's birthday post protects royals. You see what I'm saying? They did it to protect themselves. Did it because they knew that the world was going to celebrate Harry and they didn't want to look small and petty and they just didn't want to be exposed. Let's go on. It says this the royal family birthday message to Prince Harry on his 40th birthday protect themselves from any future bombshells that he may launch as it projects them as the party that's interested in peace. You see what I'm saying? They want to be painted as the good guys. They want to paint Harry as the bad guy. If he says anything else, he's the bad guy. And we talked about this in the Sunday podcast that we know this playbook. He'll say he leaked the fact that he was going to phone Harry for his birthday. He leaked that. He posted the picture for himself. He leaked the phone call for himself. Charles did. And then he'll leak the content of the phone call and then try to put it on Harry and say Harry leaked it. And then try to paint him out as the bad guy. I'm waiting for it any minute now for it to go down because we have all saw this before. And I knew it. And Jack Roston gave it up. He was on, what was the name of the show? It was on, he said a British morning show. I think it was Good Morning Britain that he was on. And he said it. They did it to protect themselves. End of story. And then it's filled with a whole lot of nonsense, but that's what I wanted to talk about. It was about themselves. All right. And when I saw this, and after I read that, I saw this cartoon right here. And to me, this cartoon says it all. It is a cartoon with Harry blowing out his 40th birthday candles. And look, there's Camilla, there's Charles, there's William, and there's Kate with knives behind their back, ready to shank him. Now tell me that is not true. Because that's what it's all about. They gave him a birthday to shank him. How can it be any truer. I don't know. I love this cartoon. It says royal peace gesture. They're just trying to save face after years of racist bullying towards Meghan and Harry. And that's it. It's all about them. Everything that they do is about them. Don't get it twisted. And that's what this whole birthday post was about. That's what that pushback from Buckingham Palace about Meghan being cropped out. It was all about them. They're not fooling nobody. Let's go on. And while they're, oh, I'm sorry, my nose itch. While they're acting, participating in all this nonsense that they participate in, Harry and Meghan are about their business, doing good. And so today, Archwell, it says, in honor of the National Voters Registration Day, the Archwell Foundation team came together for a meaningful volunteer activity to support and empower our communities using Vote Forward impact letter writing tool. Our team wrote personalized letters encouraging unregistered voters to register to vote. All right, that's what Harry and Meghan doing. They out here making a difference while these people out here creating nonsense, I swear. And then also this came out. It was an updated speakers list that's going to be at the Cleanse Global Initiative meeting, and there's Prince Harry. There he is. I know. I cannot wait for next week. I cannot. And the governor of New York, I see him, and the governor, I mean her. That's Kathy Hochul. I see Andy Beshear. He is the governor of Kentucky. Stephanie Rule. She is from MSNBC and so on. And of course, there in the corner is our First Lady, love Jill Biden. She's going to be there. This is what Harry is doing. Harry is doing big things while these people are over here continuing their nonsense, and it's ridiculous. Let's go on. It says this is a tweet. It says the Clean Global Initiative 2024 will feature the launch of more than 100 new partnerships that advance solutions in major global challenges known as commitments to action. The special session tackles the climate crisis, global health inequality, gun violence, freedom of the press, and more. They are trying to do good in this world. And William up there crying his salty tears. "Oh, I'm not gonna, I don't want to see my brother." And Harry showed up and he folded like a chair and not even gonna do earth flop. Anyway, all right. This right here is kind of going back to what is going on with Meghan. And I wanted to bring to attention, I'm sure it is people here that that are subscribers don't even understand the history of all the stuff that Meghan has gone through. Now, I'm not going to go through all the stuff that Meghan has gone through, but I am going to go through some of it because this squatty right here, she said, this one right here says, I'm not a royalist. I'm not actually, let's see, I'm not actually necessarily a fan of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but one thing I can see is clearly inconsistent treatment of Meghan for identical behavior as Kate, which raises the question as to the reason of the difference. They have always treated Meghan differently, and they have always treated her cruelly, and they have done it using the press. And I'm not talking about just the rags. It used to be, Piers Morgan used to be on morning television every morning talking such horrible saying such horrible things about anything that she did. She wrote inspirational messages on bananas to be given out to sex workers. And he had something to say about that. It's corny. I can't remember what he said, but he eviscerated her. And she was pregnant at the time. Megan went through a lot. Now, this is some of the stuff that Megan went through. When and we all know the avocado story. When Kate was pregnant, somebody gifted William an avocado, and it says Kate morning sickness cure. Prince William gifted with an avocado for pregnant Duchess. Well, when Megan was pregnant, one of her friends came over and she made avocado toast. He took a picture of it and posted it. And this is what the result of that was. As the Duchess serves avocados on toast for tea, is Megan's favorite snack fueling drought and murder? That's what she got. I mean, it is unreal. And this whole thing with her baby bump. Kate tenderly cradles her baby bump out of sheer love and maternal devotion, but Megan can't keep her hands off hers of for either pride, vanity, or acting. This is what they did. She couldn't even cradle her baby bump without them criticizing her. I remember she wore dark colored nail polish and they eviscerated her. Almost, and then she wore a one shoulder dress and they said they almost called her a slut. They said, why can't Meghan Markle keep no, wait a minute, that's not it. Hold on. Let me find it. This here it is. Royal shock. Meghan Markle break royal protocol again with vulgar fashion move. And then Kate had wore an exact one shoulder dress, and this is what they said about her. Kate Middleton dazzles at BAFTA red carpet in elegant white gown with Prince William. That's what they did. And then we won't even get into this woman, this Princess Michael, showing up with a blackamoor brooch on at Christmas when Meghan, I don't even think Meghan was even married to Harry. That's what they did to her, a blackamoor brooch. And that is one of the racist things that you can have. And look, this is what they did. And Meghan was gonna be the only, really only black person there. And then when Archie was born, this dude from the BBC, Danny Baker, texted or posted this saying the royal baby leaves the hospital with these people here with a monkey, comparing the baby to a monkey. And we all know that old racist trope. Megan had to go through all of that. And this, how the upward mobile, now this is on the pages, the front pages of the big newspapers in this country. They post this freely, and the palace never did anything to push back on it. It says how that upward, I'll say it in a minute, how that's upwardly mobile. How in 150 years, Meghan Markle's family went from cotton slave to royalty via freedom in the U.S. Civil War while her dad ancestors included a maid at Windsor Castle, calling her trash. That's what they were doing. But Megan says she has always been proud of who she was. She ain't never backed up off of that. And she got a track record for doing exactly that. And she has always showed her mother and clung to her mother. She ain't never tried to pass, although they try to put that on her too. with no evidence whatsoever. How in the world you gonna try to pass as white and you dragging your black mama around everywhere you go? It's ridiculous. And then this one, Harry's girl is almost straight out of Compton. Gang scored home of mother reveals. So will he be dropping by for tea? And Lord, we all know this one by this woman here, this ugly flying monkey. She had the nerve to put on the front page of the Daily Mail, yes, they're joyfully in love, so why do I have a niggling worry about engagement picture? Because you're a racist. That's why. Biatch. That's why. You're a racist biatch. And this is the last one. This is the last one. And I could go on all night with this. They did so much. I can't even tell you. And they put one article in the newspaper about Kate getting Botox, and the palace pushed back on it right away. But this woman right here, wrote this in the pages of the one of their national papers. This woman who looks like a cyclops, who has one eye looking at you and one eye looking for you, wrote this, and the palace never opened their mouth. Jan Moore wrote this: Duchess Meghan is a mutt who should be grateful to be a diversity prop. This is what this cyclops wrote. Megan went through so much. And like I said, I could go on and on. We ain't even going to talk about the UKIP girlfriend, the head of UKIP's girlfriend, talking about how eventually if Harry marries her, he going to have a black king, and that Harry's is Megan's blood is going to taint the royal blood. On national TV, sit up there and said some nonsense like that. She had posted it, and then they had her on the morning show. Megan went through so much, and they continue to do that. That's why the squatties get so angry. That's why they dragging so hard on X right now and on Instagram, because they tired of this nonsense. Leave her alone. Let her have some peace. Let her live her life. She ain't bothering nobody. But Kensington Palace, with a mediocre primaries, continue to just absolutely collect L after L after L with their nonsense, because they think they know everything, and then it ends up to be a flippity flippity flop. And then they want to try to distract by using a couple who is minding their business in Montecito. It's ridiculous. And people are tired of it. I'm tired of it. One more thing. Well, two more things. I just want to say this. I saw today that the Express editor, Gary Jones, is departing. He's the latest cutback. You know how low, how sleazy, how, I mean, you the stuff that's on the bottom of people's shoes to be the editor of the Daily Express. The Daily Express is the rag among rags. And he was the editor of the Daily Express. And you know what? These rags are slowly falling. And I cannot be happy about it. They ran their goose that laid the golden egg away, and now they're paying for it. It's Gary Jones. I see that they're cutting staff with the Daily Mail and the Sun in America. I think they cut it like 10%, because America, we don't care nothing about your nonsense. We don't want to buy it. We don't want to. We just done with it. We don't care nothing about you. And they're gonna have to cut even more here in America because we got enough nonsense that's homegrown. We don't need any from Salty Island coming over here. And I see Simon Case has gotten into trouble. They want him to get out of his job. Now that labor is in power, they are done with him. And I'm just going to say this, and this is me being messy. Well, I have y'all noticed, and I think Byron said this, that all of Williams' aides, communications, all of them look the same. Jason Knopf, all of them look the same. Simon Case, they all got that beard. And William wanted to get his beard. I be thinking Byron is on to something about them pulled pork sandwiches. I'm just saying. I'm being messy, but I believe Byron is on to something about them pulled pork sandwiches. I'm just saying it. And I got two more things to say. I know it's a lot, but Kate and William still trying to cover up. They like a cat trying to cover up their poop after that mini movie from Ricola. And so they actually went in their pockets and gave some money. It says, I got this from the Independent. It says Kate Middleton and Prince William secret act of kindness days after cancer update. You know they have to put the cancer up there. It said the Prince and Princess of Wales secretly now donated to London's food bank that was robbed of thousands of pounds of goods days after Kate announced she had finished chemotherapy. I bet you they dictated this article word for word. And if it was secret, why we know? And can you imagine the desperation of people who are so hungry and so desperate that they rob a food bank where they could get the food for free, but they wanted food, so desperate for food, and yet and still they are running all these checks to William and Charles. UK, y'all need to wake up. Y'all just need to wake up. But they said that the charity posted it on X that they had donated. It says thousands of pounds. Oh, wait a minute. How much? I think it was like 3,000 pounds that they donated. A huge thank you to Kinston Royal to who has donated to our recovery effort following the theft of 3K of food supplies from, and then they said whoever. So I assume that they donated $3,000. Big whoop de doo. They done ran you a check for 20, $25 million, and you gonna run them a check for $3,000 to a food bank that you just want PR. That's what that's about. Anyway, and this nonsense right here, this is the last nonsense I'm gonna talk about for the day because I'm, like I said, I'm trying to get it all in. Camilla had the nerve to sit there in front of God and everybody and talk about how Charles is such a good grandfather to her grandchildren. Listen to this. Charles's horse said, my grandchildren adore him, absolutely adore him. He reads Harry Potter and he can do all the different voices, and I think children really appreciate that. What about his biological grandchildren? I'm sure they would appreciate it too. This is why I can't stand these people. I mean, it is just ridiculous. Who are these people? Are they from another planet? Are they a spawn from hell? Who are they? I mean, she has the nerve to sit up there and say he is great with her grandchildren and rarely see his own. It's the most ridiculous thing. All right, y'all. That's it. See y'all later. Bye.